Hi, friends. This is Steve at New Compass Crypto. Thank you for joining us. By this time, I bet you are sick of hearing the name Sam Bankman-Fried, sick of talking about crypto, sick of talking about the fallout, all of it. And that's probably going to be one of the main topics of conversations at the dinner table for Thanksgiving tomorrow. I'm only going to do a few updates today, but I want to focus on something else. I want to focus on the volume of Bitcoin over the past month and what that says maybe about future price indicators. I want to start with this chart. So this is the past month of Bitcoin's prices and volume. So you can see Bitcoin was, up here near 21,000, 21,400. Bitcoin's normal trading volume on any given day is somewhere between, on the low end, 400 million on a really low day, and about 1 billion on a high day. But really, I would say average, you're looking at between 6 and 800 million. So that's what you're looking at. But as you can see right here, when the news broke and Bitcoin was at 21.4, over the next week, volume massively spiked, and it was all to the downside. So volume went up to a high of 2.84 billion. So roughly 3 times normal volume, and all to the downside, all selling pressure. Now, this is important because something that a lot of people don't consider about Bitcoin is that on any open market, you have to have a buyer and you have to have a seller. And let's stop talking about crypto for a minute and talk about like another stock. Like, let's talk about Tesla, a really popular stock, very controversial stock, but a popular stock. Well, the daily volume of Tesla is in the multi-billions. So you can be fairly sure that the market price that you're paying on any given moment is a pretty fair price because so many sellers and so many buyers are coming into the marketplace. So you're getting a price that, has a lot of liquidity to it. The same way that you would if you had a house for sale in a really popular neighborhood. And the first day that you listed the house, you had, 1,000 people come to the open house. By the end, whatever the selling price of your house was, above market value, below market value, if 1,000 people walk through it, you can be fairly sure that that was going to be a fair price, whatever that was. But now imagine that same house in a very small town in, Wyoming. And it's way out beyond any city. And, not a lot of people live there, and you have a house for sale. Well, the market for that house, regardless of what you list it at, is not going to be very, very much. You may have the entire number of people that are even interested in the house, maybe 1, 2, or 3. And how many people are going to be able to accept or afford the selling price that you asked for it? So you might very well say, well, geez, only 3 people came and none of them came near my selling price, so I'm not going to sell the house. So you hold on to the house. So in that case, it's very hard to determine what market value is at any given time for a house, in a very small town. Same thing happening with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, it's the most popular cryptocurrency, but really what you want is an indication of what the price of Bitcoin is doing and when it's safe to come in, when does activity happen that is above and beyond what is normal, above and beyond this kind of 6 to 800 million. So you're seeing, when you begin seeing 2.4 billion on the downside, that's not only a time to get out, but that maybe prices are going to be down there for a while. So right now, this past week, Bitcoin has been, again, right around average volume, maybe slightly higher than average volume. And the price has kind of stayed fairly stable. It's gone down to 15,400, but today it rose to 16,000. 400. If we look at the price over the last, 5 years, 2017 to 2022, one of the fascinating things is that you'll see Bitcoin's price rise and fall. But if you look down here and you see a huge green handle, this is upside volume. This is when people are putting a lot of buying pressure. You'll see that it was followed by a downtrend in long-term prices. But when you see a big red one right here, which is massive selling pressure, here, 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 and then again, just most recently, the last 4 times, you have seen, at least half those times you've seen massive moves to the upside. So you saw here a big red one, and then the price moved all the way from about 6,000 up to 16,000. You saw here in 2020, the price moved all the way again from, about 5,000 all the way to 40,000, above 40,000. And again here, from about 30,000 all the way up to 42,000. So each time you're seeing these moves, it may be an indication of what's called seller capitulation. It's that enough people have just dumped their Bitcoins. They're saying, I give up, I give up, I give up. And buyers come in and scoop up what they believe are bargain prices. So I am not saying that right now we are at the beginning of one of those cycles. The difference between these cycles right here and the cycle that we're in right now is that between 2017 and 2022, or certainly all the way through the end of 2021, we were in a bull market, meaning the traditional stock market, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the S&P, were all rising rapidly. And we have been in a bull market for the last 12 years. So these dips have come in an overall healthy economic environment. The difference for this year is that these big dips are coming and we are in a bear market and we could be heading into a recession. So these past habits may not be indicative of future actions. So that's why we're watching this very closely. But it is an indication that a lot of people have been selling, and there's only a limited number of sellers on the open market, and we are watching closely for when we are going to get back in. Right now, we are still thinking somewhere around 13.5 is kind of where we're going to get in, because there is more danger up ahead that we see. This is daisy chain of leverage between Sam Bankman-Fried, who owned Alameda Research, and FTX right here. Voyager Digital is already bankrupt. But the problem is that they had these ties with Three Arrows Capital, which is also now bankrupt, and it had ties to something called Genesis Group. So Genesis Global Trading is about $1 billion in debt right now. We believe this domino is going to fall in the next week or two. And this is a major player in the crypto lending business. We believe they're going to fall in the next week or two. If they fall, they have ties to something called the Grayscale Investment Group. And Grayscale is what Cathie Wood is buying this week. She's, a lot of headlines have been made of Cathie Wood is buying Grayscale on the dip. So therefore, hey, is this a good time for you to buy Bitcoin? Don't be fooled by that. She's buying it at a massive discount. You can only buy the Grayscale investment if you're an institutional investor or if you are what is called an accredited investor. So you have to have net proceeds of over $200,000, and you can only buy in $50,000 increments. Then your Bitcoin is held for 6 months. You can't touch it. And then after that, you can sell it because you're buying it at a discount today. You can sell it at a profit tomorrow if the price doesn't continue to drop and drop and drop like it has for all of 2022. So a lot of Grayscale's people right now, the people who bought Bitcoin this past year, held it in 6 months and now are looking to sell, they are underwater. And they hold something like 631,000 Bitcoins, market value about $10 billion. So we believe Genesis is in real trouble. Genesis has ties to Gemini right here, which is owned by the Winklevoss twins. We discussed them at last webinar, and we believe they're going to be in trouble. So we believe Gemini, Genesis, and we are now adding Grayscale and something called the GBTC group. And this, we believe these is now cause for concern. And this is now, if the contagion spreads to GBTC and Grayscale, it spreads not only to, hey, some minor exchanges that a lot of people have never heard of, such as Gemini, or a crypto trading platform that no one, a lot of people, don't know about called Genesis, but you're now going into some very, very big players. Grayscale is a huge player. GBTC is even bigger. If they begin to show sign of weakness, this could be real trouble. So we are going to be waiting for these shoes to kind of clarify, the shoes to fall, or the picture to clarify a little bit better before we get back in. It's also a preview of what I'm going to be talking about next week. I'm going to do a far deeper dive into GBTC and into Grayscale. Grayscale is kind of like this, it's a great name for a company. It's other than like a Blackwater, remember that they're an arms dealer that's horrible. It's kind of a James Bondian bad names, like James Bond villain, Grayscale. Who is thinking of these names? And so we believe that they could be in trouble. None of this is going to affect the long-term health of Bitcoin and Ethereum. We believe that they're going to be amongst the last players standing. We believe that there's probably going to be, I don't know, the problem right now is that there are 19,000 cryptocurrencies that exist in the world. There really should only be, there should be maybe 500 that exist in all of the world. So really 18,500 have just got to go away completely. The DeFi exchanges have all got to go away. And then clarity and trust can start building back into the system. But it's going to take time. And we're going to be patient. We're not going to rush back into the market. And, we're going to be, thinking long term. So right now, we're still holding all cash. We'll let you know when we get back in. And I want to wish everyone a great Thanksgiving if you're in America, or a great way to, enjoy the World Cup if you're the rest of the world. And as always, you can follow us on our YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. Take good care. Bye-bye.